For many years, a woman and her husband dreamed of having children. They tried, but all their attempts proved unsuccessful. Every visit to the doctor and every new examination brought more and more disappointment. But one day, after another long conversation, they made a decision that would change their lives: to adopt a child. The process was long and complicated, but finally, they reached the moment when it was time to choose a child. Their expectations were high, and although they knew that love does not depend on biological connection, they still worried about who would become part of their family. When they arrived at the orphanage, their hearts clenched at the sight of many sad, lonely eyes looking at them. But they were drawn to two boys playing together in the corner of the room. These children looked almost identical. They were twins. Both were cheerful and curious, but a sadness hid behind their eyes, as if they had already experienced too much for their age. The boys were only 3 years old, and despite their young age, they seemed too mature for their years. The woman and her husband looked at the boys and realized that they were meant to become their children. It was as if these little hearts were already connected to their own. The twins joyfully accepted them as their parents, and the adoption process began. The documents were completed, and after a month, the boys were already in their home. It was the first day of their new life, and they felt how every corner of the house filled with laughter and joy. Years flew by quickly. The woman and her husband gave the twins everything: love, care, and support. They grew up to be smart, kind, and responsive. Despite their early losses, the boys learned to trust and love their new parents. Nothing was more important to them than the family they had found. 25 years passed. The twins became adult, successful men. And although their lives were filled with different paths and trials, they always remembered that in their hearts lived an unbreakable truth. They owed everything to those who gave them the chance to be happy. They decided to repay their adoptive parents for everything they had done for them. At first, they thought a lot about how best to thank the people who had given them parental love. And then one day, they decided they would buy them a house, beautiful, secluded, right on the sea, so that their parents could enjoy the silence, calm, and harmony they deserved. They chose a small house with windows that offered a breathtaking view of the ocean. When the adoptive parents received this gift, their eyes filled with tears and their hearts overflowed with gratitude. It was not just a gift, but a symbol of everything they had gone through together, a journey from pain and disappointment to happiness and love. The twins did not just repay a debt. They gave their parents a second chance at happiness. And perhaps at that moment, they understood that family is not always about blood ties. It is about those who are willing to love and support you throughout your life. Since then, the family spent every summer by the sea, and each day was filled with joy and gratitude for having found each other.